And let's just jump in on YouTube and Facebook. Good morning and welcome if you're joining on YouTube and Facebook. We are going to do today a qigong flow. We haven't done the 5-element flow for a few weeks, so it's nice just to take some time just to guide you through a simple flow session. Finding your space and making sure you've got plenty of room around you, forwards and backwards and to the sides. And starting with your feet hip width apart, we'll do our energizing of the spine first, loosening up the joints, ligaments, tendons, get the blood flowing, get the chi flowing, and then we'll move into a 5-element flow. Let's start off with spinal cord breathing. So breathing in, opening up the chest, lifting your heart up to the sky, and breathing out, tucking the pelvis underneath. Can't see me on the camera. Oh, I've done it again on the Zoom. So keep going if you're watching on Facebook and YouTube. What I often do is I have to change my Zoom to a different camera when I'm doing different sessions, and if I go on there you can now see me on Zoom. Sorry about that. So we're doing spinal cord, breathing in, breathing out. I think I need a producer and a cameraman and a sound engineer. Be all right then. Nice and slow, nice and smooth. Couple more. And then take a moment, standing tall. One arm in front of you, so just aligned with the sternum, and then the other arm just resting on your back, if I mirror you there. So one arm in front, one arm behind, and then we're just going to rotate around the spine, so not leaning back and then just reaching behind you a little bit, and then rotate back to center, and then rotate the other way. As you rotate the other way, just pushing a little bit, again not overreaching, not overstretching, and then back to center, and then just go side to side a few of these. And if the breathing pattern works, just breathing in as you come back to center, breathing out as you rotate. Really keep in mind that central axis of the spine. And then when you get back to center, take a moment and swap sides. So rotating, opening up, keeping tall through the neck as well, keeping that neck long, not overreaching. I think why are we doing this? We're doing this to get some rotation through the spine, each of those vertebrae just rotating one on top of the other. Keep a little bit of a bend in the knees, softness in the knee. And then back to center. Take a moment, resting one hand on one hip, remembering our spirals that we haven't done for a while. So palm facing up. Remember to keep that palm facing up. Imagine you're holding a teacup in that palm of your hand, so we can never drop that cup. Hips lead, hip glides to the side, hips glide to the back, hand glides to the back. Hip glides to the other side, hand comes up, and then really open up the front of the body here, overhead. And then again, that spiral movement going through, hips leading. Just breathing easy in and out through the nose. Let's do one more. And then swap sides. So opposite hand on the opposite hip, palm facing up, hip leads. Remember the hips lead all the time. Upper body follows. Might get a few crunches. Let's do one more. And take a rest. Bit of dog wags the tail, so shifting side to side. Here's a good one for Yvonne skiing and Christine skiing. So keeping that hips parallel to the ground, using the feet, but then freeing up the spine. So just imagine you've got a tail connected to that tailbone and you're swooshing your tail, and it just creates that little bit of subtle spiral rotation, and then that lateral, what we call lateral flexion, that side to side movement. Breathing easy and slowing down. Standing tall and then knocking on the door of life. Lifting tall through the spine. Let's do that little bit of weight shift as well with this one. So as you rotate to one side, you just shift the weight to the other side. So I'm not dropping the hips side to side. Make sure you're not doing this, that you're shifting the weight, you're bending the knee a little bit. So really strong through the hips and the lower body. There's that little bit of give of the hip side to side, but use the ground, really root yourself into the ground on that supporting leg. Again, another great one for walking, running, skiing, ice skating. Really getting that rhythmic side to side movement. Good. And then just slowing it down into water waves. Let's do a little bit of water waves. Always makes me want to take a nice, very slow, calm breath when you slow this down. So maybe filling the lungs a little bit more. Just gentle breath out. Calming breath. And take a moment. A little bit of a shake. Just a gentle shake out. Stand. And then we'll do the 5-element flow, the first 5-element flow sequence we practiced. And we'll just start off with opening the flow. So breathing in, expanding, breathing out. And feel that very subtle weight shift of the lower body as well. Don't try and move in any particular way, but just keep strong through the lower body, but just feel that shift in weight. Maybe a little bit more weight towards the heels as you're breathing in, a little bit more weight towards the ball of the feet, ball of the foot as you're breathing out. Again, the whole idea of flow is just to allow that movement just to be as effortless and as rhythmical and as smooth as possible. And find your own rhythm. Settle into your comfortable rhythm. Take a moment when you're ready. And we'll start with the first of the 5 elements, the metal element. Buddha holds up the earth. Breathing in, breathing out. And I really recommend, wherever possible, when it's safe, just to get outside and do these movements, because they do feel very different when you can feel the breeze, when you can feel the wind, when you've got that space above you, when you're actually thinking about holding something above your head and you've got that vast universe space above your head. It does make a difference. So please do, when you can and when it's safe, get outside and do some of the qigong flows, even if it's just one or two. Quite often on a run I'll just stop in the woods and just do a few little movements. Breathing in, expanding. Breathing out and softening. Feel how the spine responds, reacts, the rib cage reacts. And then take a rest. Next movement is the fountain. So very subtle hip glide back and then working the way all the way up the spine. Breathing in, breathing out. A little bit of bend in the knees, breathing in. Feel that spine lengthening, breathing out. All of the movements are focusing on that idea of nice, smooth, effortless flow. But in particular, this one is focusing on relaxation, flow, the water element. Let's do one more. Good. Take a rest again. Just going to make sure my clock is working so I can see the time. And then moving into tree sways in the wind. So softness in the elbows, palms facing up. Rotating to one side, coming up that side. Really connecting, pointing to the crown of the head, coming back to center. And then like the tree shedding its leaves. And then other side. Lengthening up the spine. Breathing in as you come up the sides. And then that little bit of lull in the breath at the top. A little bit of pause and then breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Let's do one more to each side. And take a rest. It's a really nice visualization, that of the tree swaying in the wind. And again, yesterday I was in the woods just doing some practice and watching the trees, and it was very little breeze, but you could just see that movement at the top of the tree, but the strength of the trunk. So that real strength and stability combined with that flexibility, and that's what helps them grow, and that's what helps to build resilience. Cloudy hands, one palm down, one palm facing the heart. Make sure this palm faces the heart center. Get a little bit of shift in the hips on this. So shift the hips, get like a little bit of a spiral going through the hips, a little bit of figure of 8 going through the hips. Excuse me. So that the hips lead the movement. The hips and the center lead the movement. It's not just an arm movement. So really get that flow with this movement. It's very easy to make this quite a robotic movement. So see if you can get that sense of flow with this movement. And just breathing easy. Just breathe naturally in and out through the nose. And always good to have that sense of an inner smile. It's nice to remember something, a memory, maybe something in your childhood, or if you're in nature. I always remember the beach in Costa Brava when I'm doing this one, and we were just watching the sunrise. Yvonne will remember that. Just watching that sunrise. Something that makes you feel good. Just taking a rest when you're ready. Standing tall. Final element of the earth element, focusing on really just grounding. A little bit of weight shift or hips glide back a little bit, not too much. Again, this is not about doing a particular movement or a particular exercise. It's really focusing on that smooth sense of flow. Learning that skill of combining movement and breath. Let's do 2 more in your own time. Taking a moment. And to finish off, just pulling down the heavens 3 times, breathing in. Breathing out. And then linking your thumbs, resting on your lower belly. Bringing your feet together. And just closing your eyes and allowing your body to move as it feels it wants to, as it needs to, finding its natural balance. Using that visualization or image of bamboo in the wind. Softening and relaxing the face muscles. And now just taking a calm, full breath in through the nose. Opening up your eyes. Stepping your feet out, giving yourself a brush down, a very gentle brush down, brushing the palms together, brushing down the arms, brushing down the back of the legs, and giving your tummy a nice little rub. Excellent! Felt for that this morning, really wanted to do just that 5-element flow. I thought it was a good way just to get us set up for the day and into the weekend. A few things coming up over this next week. If you are on Andrew and I's heart rate variability program, the heart rate variability course, don't forget there's a 2 p.m. Zoom, 2 till 3 Zoom on Saturday, so if you haven't signed up for that, jump in for that. Doesn't matter even if you're just starting the course either, but just jump in and we can just chat about anything there. We'll be doing a little bit of breath work and breathing practice in that session too. Also next week, a few exciting things coming up next week. We do have another lunch and learn, which we haven't done for a long time. But at that lunch and learn, it'll be Andrew and I again, and we'll be just giving you some more information on the Scotland retreat. So if you're interested in that retreat, or if you've joined that retreat and just want some more information on it, we'll be chatting about that. We'll be also giving you some exciting news about a new training that we are doing. So you might want to join for that as well. That's next Friday. Also, there's a launch of an app, so the breathwork app that I'm involved in. So that's all happening next week. So you'll see a lot of information about that as we move through next week too. So plenty to be thinking about. Thanks for joining me this morning. For those of you who are traveling off skiing for the weekend and for the week, have a safe journey, and I'll see you all next, or most of you, next Tuesday, hopefully, for the breathwork session. Have a great day. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.